Hey guys, what's up? It's Cole. Bozja and Eurekan styled content is in fact coming in the next expansion, Dawntrail. This breaking news comes from a recent Famitsu article where they stated, however, we are also in the process of planning a completely new type of battle content that has never been done before. We are also discussing the next series of large-scale games and use an entire area, such as the Southern Bozjan Front, and EUREKA, the Forbidden Land, and are planning to take on new challenges. So just going off of that, this completely ignited a spark in me, which today I was going to honestly talk about other news, but this is like front and center to my personal concerns, and I'm totally being selfish here. And many people who have been following me and my coverage of relevant content and like adjacent content like EUREKA, Baldessian Arsenal, and more for years, this is just like the biggest thing that has come out, and I know that's not even really a part of FanFest, which has had a huge number of issues with Vegas, which I do want to be covering and talking about because some of the stuff that's come out is really upsetting. But to me personally, this is just like, I need to talk about this because this is like expansion changing. Because I'm not gonna lie, during FanFest I was a little bummed hearing it's just like, oh, okay, where's exploratory content or like some new meaty thing. Endwalker right now has a gaping hole in it in terms of content. Specifically, content that saddles the line between accessible, like you can queue into it, you can join it and complete it with the expectation of actually completing it, but that it's something that is more grippy and has a little bit more bite to it, a little bit more raw to it than standard fare content. Like, I say it often, but there is little to nothing expert or showing expertise about doing an expert roulette. It is very trivial affair. Contrast that to Diluvium Rajana normal, or say doing critical engagements in Bozja, let the bodies hit the floor, and the many of these like critical engagements were nothing short of iconic, such as a lot of people, or basically anyone who did Bozja and critical engagements probably remembers the Red Chalktober. You know, where it's just like, holy shit, the meteors are everywhere and you take reflect. Like the one with the red chocobo, and it was just out of this world. Or that's not even mentioning the 1v1 me bros. Like if you did well in a critical engagement, you would have a chance to apply to do a 1v1 me bro. It was so good. Or frankly, the scale of Castrum Lacus Littori. Like you had separate platforms to fight the Beastmaster, or the party splitting off to save prisoners, or different like platforms. Even for the first fight, it's just like you're basically fighting two completely separate bosses with two completely separate mechanics to like the same end. I found it so cool. It was so, how to say, genuinely, honestly novel content that we've never seen elsewhere in Final Fantasy XIV. The entire idea of the whole party splitting and actually genuinely splitting to do different mechanics to achieve an end goal is really novel. Oh, like sure, World of Darkness split people into different Atmos platforms to do the same thing. You smack the thing in the middle, you jump up on the platform that glows if you get knocked down. Maybe a better example would be like Cerberus, where I'm always going to be Group V, and I'm shocked people don't meme on the Vor joke more. It's pretty low-hanging fruit, and it's really, really funny. But I totally digress. Just for me, this piece of news genuinely sparked a ton of excitement back into me because, frankly, I love our devs. I love Yoshi P and all of the team, but I am absolutely like, I don't want to say the words resentful. I'm feeling like a little let down at the tedium of 1,500 tomestones. And I mean, on one hand, I think that it's amazing to have a good tomestone dump, but I don't think it should have been tied to relic content that has historically been like a really good way to like flesh out the game. Like I even think about the Bozjan lore, and it's like it had amazing cutscene, and it had amazing stories, it had amazing lore, and I'm still like, okay, well, what happened to those dudes at the end that were like, okay, we're taking off, or like how are you helping rebuild like Gangnos and anything? I don't know. I feel like it could have been explored a lot more, and so this entire expansion I've been like, it was it. But back to the tomestones in particular and like content to do, I think that it's a good thing to have a tomestone dump, because that's what it basically is. I think that that's great, and a lot of people raised in my comments, which I totally agree with, it's great to have a very accessible weapon that looks pretty, which I think is amazing. I think that that is truly good for you guys. Like, I feel like whenever someone comes to my videos, they're like, oh, he just wants to make it so that we need to grind and gatekeep. Like, I hope at this point, I have over 700 videos on this channel, guys. I hope by this point, over the past 3 years, that it has become really obvious. I don't want to gatekeep. There is nothing for me to gain by gatekeeping. Like, I don't measure my ego at all by how I perform in this game. I mean, if I did, maybe I'd be a little bit more insecure and be like, oh my god, I haven't cleared the Omega Protocol Ultimate, I should die. Which I do get told pretty frequently, I will say. But I think that it is a great option to allow people to dump their tombstones into pretty glam, which is what this relic boils down to. But unfortunately, that's leaving that big gaping wound, that big festering wound, where we're like, okay, like, what do we do? Because we do have ultimates. They're very, very, very highly praised. Well, top, I haven't heard that much, but DSR was absolutely a hit mechanically speaking. I still am like P3S orange. Like, I see orange in real life and I recoil. I'm like, oh. But I digress. But we've had ultimates. We've had what other people are saying is a pretty good Savage tier. I honestly think last expansion Savage tiers were more exciting. Like, I haven't even really gone at this tier just because, like, I don't know. I'm not going to get into it here. Basically, T group dissolved and my will to play has been like, because I love Teeth. Epic of Alexander, oh my god. I wish I did it back last expansion. What an amazing fight. It's just giving me all the good tingly vibes. But then that group dissolved and, guys, I digress. I'm so sorry. But more to the focus on Bozja. I'm just really excited for what's going on here. And I think that there is so much potential here. I think that the developers have learned a lot from EUREKA going, well, originally Diadem, I should argue, going into EUREKA. That was a huge leap. EUREKA into Bozja was a huge leap. And now they're going to have like 4 years of learnings between Bozja and between this new form of content to do even more learnings. Guys, I'm not going to bullshit you. I am actually genuinely excited because if one thing that this dev team has proven is that they have the will, they have the passion, like to turn around 1.0 and turn it into Realm Reborn. These people are no joke. They mean business. And when they have their mindset on something, they get shit done. And it may not always hit. Like, I do think that the Criterion variant rewards do need a lot of... Like frankly, I hope when they release a new island, the third Criterion, which is coming next patch, that they really do look at the reward structure and think, okay, how could we actually like push people into like doing the Savage? Because I do think that the carrot is important, but they do pull out amazing content. Like the dungeon, like Mount Rakan, beautiful. Different mechanics for the mobs, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't appreciate. It's just like you're looking at the mechanical differences between things, and that's one thing that Bozja and EUREKA did. Like, they pulled out weird mechanics that we haven't really seen before. It's just like everyone knows what a fucking stack marker is. Woo, a stack marker. Oh, novel. What's a tank buster, bro? Oh, wow, it might apply bleed. How novel. But like, I mean, for real, like, those are bread and butter. But what I've seen in even Mount Rakan is like a lot of these mechanics are like new, and I'm like, this is I mean, maybe they're twists on what we currently have, but like they're new, and I'm like, this is pretty good. So anyhow, this is all I have to say on this. I had to get the news out there because this is genuinely huge. Take care, everyone, and let me know what you think in the comments. I am genuinely freaking hugely hyped.